We all want to live in a lovely house. Here's what you need to know before you rent one. Your average real estate website in Japan will have three categories to pick from: apartment, mansion or condominium, standalone house. In Japan, both apartments and mansions mean a multi-unit complex. The key difference between the two is size and glamour. Apartments used to be considered cheap, but these days there's a white sheep in every flock, and you can easily find mansions that are cheaper than apartments. However, on average, mansions still cost more. What you need to understand is that within an average price range, both mansions and apartments are essentially the same thing. We'll use both terms interchangeably. As with many things, the devil's in the details. This leaves us with two categories to pick from: multi-unit apartment/mansion, standalone house. Whenever you're looking for a new place to live in, there are a lot of factors to consider. Location. Here we won't focus on the commute time and things that you can figure out on your own by using the internet. Instead, we'll try to give you a quick breakdown of secondary factors. Basically, anything within a 1,000-meter distance is a 5 to 10 minute ride by bicycle. If you plan to cook by yourself, be sure to check that your new home-to-be is close enough to your local supermarket. Convenience stores do not always have what you're going to need to cook a meal. These days, you can have almost anything delivered to your door, so you don't have to worry about most things being close to your future home. Having an ATM nearby could help you enjoy local eateries that deal in cash, especially if you live in the outskirts. Age. Anything below 15 to 20 years is safe to be called fresh enough, while anything over that can be a wild card. You can find a renewed 50-plus-year-old apartment that may look better than a 20-year-old mansion. Wooden or steel frame. There are mainly two types of Japanese houses: wooden houses and steel frame based houses. Wooden houses are cheaper, less earthquake resistant, and have poor sound insulation. Steel framed houses cost more, have greater earthquake resistance, and provide at least some level of sound insulation. Additional costs: key money, deposit money, cleaning fees, insurances, and such. Even the move-in date might be the deciding factor. Allow us to elaborate a little on the subject of deposit money. There's a widespread misconception that deposit money equals money that won't come back. Mainly, this way of thinking existed because for a long time, the treatment of deposit money was not defined legally. However, in 2020, there's been a revision of the civil law. You'll only lose your deposit money if you've done the kind of damage to the property that can't be considered normal use. So you can't be charged for things like damages caused by a natural disaster, like typhoon or earthquake, flooring damage caused by your furniture, wear and tear caused by normal use, such as indents in the floor or small deformations, blackening or burning of the walls caused by the constant use of home appliances, and key replacement. But you can and will be charged if you've done clear damage to the apartment. Be especially careful not to damage the flooring in any noticeable way. We'll talk more about this in our final video of this accommodation series. 90% of Japanese real estate is only available via an intermediary company, so just accept the fact that you cannot talk directly to the owner and move on. Recently, some companies began to offer zero upfront costs. If you want cheap options, this is probably the best shot you have as of 2021. Usually you end up paying 4 to 6 times the monthly rent when you sign the contract. On average, it's at least 200,000 yen or $1,900 for a small apartment. Standalone houses offer a lot more freedom. In most cases, you don't have to worry about being loud. You can have your own garden, it's pet friendly, and you can invite other people whenever you feel like it, but they cost more. On the subject of Ninen Shibari, you might be surprised to discover that in most cases you cannot negotiate the length of a contract. It's 2 years. Even 1-year contracts are rare. Please keep in mind that if you need an accommodation for less than a year, like for a month maybe, you should consider typing in your search query something along the lines of monthly contracts. This category usually has very flexible rules about its tenants. The per day rate may be a bit higher, but if you rent monthly and avoid the standard 2-year contract, you'll save a lot more money in case you plan to enjoy Japan just for a few months. Now, let's imagine that you found just the right place for your future journey in Japan. This is where your big, scary, boring lease contract comes into play. The moment you sign your contract is the moment when you can be dubbed a winner or a loser for the next 2 years. So be sure to understand its contents without any prejudice. You definitely need to cover things like move-out conditions and costs, especially how many months in advance you need to notify the owner about moving out, if lighting fixtures are included or not, any renewal fees, kandihi or management fee, and if AC is included or not. Lastly, do not be fooled by pretty photos and 3D representations. These things could have been taken when everything inside was in perfect condition. You can and should check the house before signing the contract and notify the owner if anything needs to be fixed, like the wallpaper, flooring, rust, cracks. In rare cases, you can negotiate the amount of deposit, but don't get your hopes up. In the next video, we'll break down every pitfall and trick related to moving in.